Hello again in this second video of our series talking about the 2022 and 2023 school budget. In this video, we'll focus in on just giving us some comparisons and background information about where we sit as a school in comparison to other schools. And then we'll talk about our general fund and the cash reserve. And that, if you've watched the past videos, it will not be a new discussion topic for you to hear about. So just hearing about where we're wanting to go from where we're at currently. With all this stuff on the screen, this is going to make this hard to see. I'll try to move some stuff out of the way. So as a board, we looked at this page to see just how we compare to other schools that are about our size. So these are the 10 schools that are closest, or 10 smaller schools and the 10 next larger schools. You can see kind of down the enrollment here, and then we sorted them by alphabetical order. But give you an idea of schools that are about our size, about what they are having for total levy and how much they spend per student and what their valuation is. So if you look, Centennial, and we talked quite a bit about it, that Centennial still benefits from a very good consolidation that occurred in the district in 1967. And so we've got a very large district, yes, but a district that has a lot of very valuable property. And so as a result, our valuation is much higher than other schools that are our size. And so because that high valuation, it allows us to have our taxes at a lower levy rate than other districts that are similar in size to us, which leads to lower property taxes for Centennial school patrons when compared to these 20 other schools that are about our size. So you can see we actually do have. Again, I apologize. I'm trying to hide some of this so it's not in our way. As you look through, you can see that our property taxes are lower than what these other districts are. But you can also see our state aid is one of the lower ones too. As I mentioned in the previous video, since our resources exceed our needs, we don't receive any equalization aid. And you can see some schools do that are our size. They do get equalization aid while we do not. The other thing that you can point out and see is that our cost per pupil is one of the higher districts too. And there's a lot that goes into that equation. Some of the things being, we probably have more transportation costs than most schools our size. The average school our size probably runs, 4 or 5 buses, where we run 9 or 10, depending on the school year and the amount of bus drivers that we have. And so that's part of it. They also take into account the value of the structure that you have. And then, of course, we also do offer maybe more classes than other schools do that are our size as well, where we offer, of course, all ag classes, wood shop, FCS classes, those kind of things. When people are up against the levy, decisions have to be made whether you're going to continue to offer that type of support and that type of classes for your students. And Centennial's made the choice to provide a very good education for their students with a broad array of courses that can be taken. And so those are some of the things that drive us to have a little higher cost per pupil, but also I feel and I guess the results from our testing would show that we do provide a very good education for our students because of the decisions that are made by your local school board. So that's some of that comparison. Again, if you want to look here locally, how we compare to local districts for the taxes that we have for patrons, you can see that ours. I looked at all the bordering districts that we have to Centennial, and you can see that we are the lowest. At least this was last school year. We were the lowest in taxes that we had our patrons pay in to fund the needs of the school district. So again, we're fortunate to have the consolidation that we did have that allowed us to, or really allows us to have great education for our students at a lower tax rate for our patrons. So it's definitely went very well for Centennial schools. Okay, again, this is not new to you if you watched last year's videos, but we talked last year a lot about the cash reserve. And so the auditors would like, and they suggest that you keep about 2 to 3 months of reserve at your lowest month. And currently, we're not at that level. As you can see at the bottom bullet here that the estimate at the end of August here that we had about $1.9 million in the bank, which on our average month, so you see we have about $758,000 in average spending if we include our insurance payment that we made. So, yeah, if this was our low month, we would be in great shape. But the low month typically comes around January or April in a given school year. And I have a different slide up ahead that we can look at to look at what our reserve has been through the years at Centennial. And so we started the work on this last year. We raised our general fund levy just a little bit to try to increase the reserves, but there's still more work to be done to try to increase that levy. And again, this we're at this level because there was savings to the taxpayers in the past, and did draw down our reserves to a point that it's time that we do build them back up, so we don't get to the point that we're having to borrow money to pay the bills at the end of a month. And so moving forward here, oops, that did not work. Here we go. So you can kind of see over the last, since 2012, what our low months, so if you see what's highlighted, that's the low month for cash reserve of that school year. So in 2012, 2013, 2014 even, we were at that $1.5 million mark, which was a pretty healthy cash reserve. And that's really about where we'd like to get again. You can see the last 3 school years, we were down to a little over $500,000 in the cash reserve after paying the bills in the month of January. So again, we're not panicked, but it is something that we would like to address and get to a little healthier state, because I'll explain. School taxes don't come in evenly throughout the school year. They come in typically in May, and then in September, and then also we do get a pretty good draw in January after these bills have been paid. If people do pay their taxes early for the next school or for the next fiscal year for themselves. And so usually during those 3 months, we do receive tax funds in. And so that's why you see the fluctuation throughout the school year of when we're getting draws of tax money coming in from the counties. And so again, yes, we would like to get to a point that we are not at risk of borrowing money to pay the bills, because it's just not a great use of patron funds to have to borrow the funds, pay our bills, and then have to pay back with interest the bank for the borrowed funds. So again, not the end of the world. Some schools do that every single year. We just feel like it wouldn't be the best use of our money to be doing that year in and year out. So we want to put ourselves in a position that we won't have to do that as a school district here at Centennial. So that's kind of the driving force with a lot of decisions we're making with this present budget. And I think I will pause for now just to keep the videos a little bit shorter.